folks. All right, last stop is Qigong. So how do we move our bodies, right? Well, one thing is we try to adhere to circularity. So if you're going to do something, starting, stopping, starting again isn't so much the thing as clean, fluid movement. But that's not really how we operate all the time. So it takes some practice. And so first, let's just figure out how to get out of our own ways. That's the first stop, which is alignments. How do you stand? Because there's one thing that Taoists recognized is that there's one condition that affects every human being, every plant, and every animal on this planet, which is gravity. And so I'm sure you've seen some elders and you've seen some older folks. As they get older, they get smaller, they get tighter, right? And a lot of that, the shrinking is because there's space in between your vertebrae that just gets less and less and less and less over time. And same with all of your joints. There's fluid in all of your joints. And the less that you have, the closer your bones get together and the harder it is to move. And so the Taoists have a saying that before you're 25, you get your body for free. After you're 25, you have to earn it. And so Qigong and Tai Chi and all these other funky arts are earning your body. And so we're not trying to force our body into any certain positions or into any certain movements. What we want to do is encourage our bodies, because we're not seeking result for its own sake, right? Like if I'm moving my arms in a specific place, like, okay, my arms are parallel, but the point isn't that my arms are parallel. The point is that my arms are parallel and they're in front of these two channels of the body, and the flow of energy condenses in the center of the body. It's not that my arms are parallel. And if my arms were parallel because I cranked down and I tensed my muscles, it's because I was forcing my body into that position. And so when I started, my elbows were out here. And slowly, through relaxation, I was able to let my elbows drop. And so what does it have to do with anything, right? What we're going to do is a few different minor adjustments, but I'm saying that you want to encourage your body into that place. Because again, we're not trying to put our body in a specific place just for the sake of movement. We're doing it because that's the most natural position. But over time, and through sitting all through desks in schools and cars and weird movements and jobs that create repetitive motions that are unbalanced in some degree, our bodies are a little off. And so how do we get it to a neutral state or a natural state? And that's what we're trying to do. So when we're standing, there's some different schools that do other things. They have like wider, like horse stances, or you can see people like in these forward stances and stuff. But rather than that, we're going to do something you can do anywhere in the world, is you just stand with your feet parallel, like you're on train tracks, right? They're not splayed out, they're not pigeon-toed, they're forward. And basically have your feet underneath your knees, which are underneath your hips, which are underneath your shoulders. So have your feet about shoulder width apart. And if you can't turn your feet in parallel or out parallel without considerable tension, just go as close as you can. So if you need to start with your foot a little bit out, but that's the most comfortable thing that you can do with it, that's fine. Just work towards this. This is what we're going for. And so the knees, right? You don't want your knees locked, and you don't want them bent so much that your knees are going forward of your toes. I'm knees behind toes guy, okay? So you want your knees directly over the arch of the foot, and then above that your hips. Now right here, this is something that the Chinese call the qua. And so if you were to stand on one leg and lift up the other, this thing that folds, the inguinal crease, the bikini cut, that is called the qua. And so if you've ever done squats before where you keep your back straight and you go down, that's kind of what you're going for. You're trying to soften this place. And so just like where your knees aren't locked, you want them bent slightly. This you don't want fully upright. You want to sit down a little bit in this. And it will help if you put your hands here, and you can even just press. And it's going to drop your butt. And it's going to be the feeling of like when you initiate sitting in a chair that's lower than you. You know, you're not like pushing yourself down to do that. You just kind of drop down. And you bend at this place. And so you want, with a little bit of springiness here, to just try for a second, just bounce on your feet. Now how do you bounce with your hips here, your qua, and your knees? How do you bounce in a way that you can get the weight of your body into your feet? Not stuck in your hips, or in your knees, or in your ankles. How do you get it to the bottom of your feet? And so now stop bouncing and just remain still, and just feel around with your knees. Feel around. Maybe one needs to go a little bit more forward than the other. Like how do you, and that's where it gets a little bit more art than science sometimes. Like you have to find this stuff yourself. I remember, to be totally honest, it was kind of frustrating at first because I would go to these classes, these retreats, and they'd have you focus on something, like this tension that's somewhere in your body, and you'd like really be in it and like, okay, I can definitely feel it, and then I'm like waiting for this like key to unlock the release or whatever, and they're like, all right, now just relax that place. And I'm like, well, how do I relax, And they're like, well, just soften it. I said, what does that even mean? Because it's an idea, but how do you replicate softness inside your body, right? And so when we're bending in the quad, we want to just soften here a little bit. And then when we feel any of the tensions in our legs, try to just soften it. And you can soften your muscles and let your bones keep you up. And so another thing is right here between the pelvic bone and the lowest rib. Some people call it the midriff, the obliques. And so this, you're going to want to, if you can, lift up a little bit. And it's going to be maybe a half an inch, maybe an inch. What happens is these areas get kind of closed down, and it does block off the flow of energy. And so if you can, just try to get a little lift through there and do it without forcing it. It's a natural thing. If you encourage yourself, right? And basically it's the kind of the sides of your body, right down from your nipples, down to about here, like adjacent for your belly button. And just try to feel deep in there and see if you can lift up a little bit. If not, no big deal. It's not the biggest alignment point. The other is going to be your shoulders and your armpits. And so we're just going to start with our arms kind of flopped, like just hanging out here. And you're going to take in between your thumb and your pointer finger and just rest that on your hip, right? And it's not going to be directly like over your hip bone. It's going to be just let your arms hang, but have it be on the side of your leg. Like this, with your palms facing behind you. So rather than doing this, you turn. And rather than like really twisting the arm, what you can do is you turn the shoulder blades. And if you can get the shoulder blades to spread, then you can turn and round the back. And again, you don't want to, I can really round like this, but I'm tight. So I want to soften as close as I can. And when you do that, you notice that there's a little gap here. Well, the armpit is a major way that energy gets to the fingertips from the torso. And so what we want to do is keep everything loose and make sure that the armpit is open, the arms are relaxed, sinking down, and the last point is going to be the neck and the head. And so right back here, right at the top of the spine, where the spine meets the skull, it's called the occiput. What we want to do is keep that open, because it's a very important junction where the energy of the spine gets into the energy of the brain. And so, how do we keep it open? We keep it open by dropping our chin. And so, they call this tech neck or geek neck. You see people on computers a lot, like this. Well, that closes this down, it closes down the energy, and what do you know? A lot of programmers have like really bad migraines. And so what you can do is you just drop the chin and allow the back to rise. Again, you don't want to tense your muscles. Like for sure, I have the back of my neck open now, but my neck is like this, right? If I was to just let this go down here, chin goes down, occiput opens up, and you do it through relaxation. So why all this relaxation stuff, right? Energy can't flow smoothly through tense muscle tissues. So a lot of what we're figuring out how to do is how do you leverage the natural alignment of the body so you don't have to tense the muscles to do the things you're normally going to do. You're going to stand, hopefully, every day of your life. How do you do that without deteriorating? How do you take steps without deteriorating your body? This is how, in my experience. And so let's just stand. This is going to be a very simple practice, but it's something that is pretty fundamental to a lot of the work that gets done in the more advanced arts. And so, again, let's stand. Feet shoulder width apart, parallel, not splayed out, not pigeon-toed, straight. Knees are going to be slightly bent, not too far bent, not locked, just off of lock. Quad, you're going to soften and drop just a little bit. Midriff, if you can, put your mind in your midriff, lift up a little bit. Chin drops, palms face backwards. Then we're going to put our intention right at the very top of our head. And so if you were to go up from your ears and up from your nose, right at the center of your head, you're going to want to put your focus right there. And if you need to, you can just scratch the very top of your head, put your hand down, and then just feel that place. So a lot of people find it easier to feel inside of their bodies if their eyes are closed. So close your eyes, feel the very top of your head, and feel somewhere that feels tense, somewhere that feels blocked, feels some sort of contraction or tension, or anything that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is or if you can't even feel it. What is that kind of weird thing? Chances are you find something pretty quick, and just keep your mind on it. Keep your mind on that thing, and then try to release it. Try to just relax and let it drop downwards. And so, with your intention, starting at the very crown of your head, the very top, you're going to feel like sometimes when you're in the shower and the water just comes down and it goes down the front, the back, the sides, everything. And so at one level, front, back, and sides, just with your mind. We're going to go from the top of the head down through the body. So starting at the top, we're going to release the top, release through all the top of the head, the sides, the temples, the back of the head, down through the forehead and the third eye, through the temples and above the ears, down through the occiput. Feel your eyes now. Feel the tension there, just let it drop downwards through the top of your nose, down the top of your cheeks, down the back of your head, now through the bottom of your nose and all of your sinuses. Just let it go. Let go over your ears, go over the top of your neck, in the back. Now let go of your jaw. Let go of your throat. Let go of any need to say anything. Just breathe. Let everything drop down the front of the chest, down the back, down the top of the shoulders, into the shoulder blades, in between the shoulder blades around the spine, the armpits, and the chest, all sinking downwards, down towards the diaphragm. Feel all the tension in your chest just release. Breathe easy. While you're going through the torso, go down your arms, down your biceps and triceps to your elbow. Your elbows are probably near your diaphragm. Now go down your belly, down the top of your belly, go down your back, down through your kidneys, down through your organs, into the lower belly, into the wrists and the lower forearms, your lower back, your lower spine. Let your butt just get heavy. Stay standing as tall as you are, but let your butt just get heavy and drop towards the floor. Let your thighs and your hips and your genitals, everything just drop towards the floor and relax. And your lower thighs and your knees, your shins, just keep going down. Keep your eyes closed and focused. Down towards your ankles, the tops of your feet, the bottom of your ankles, the back, your heels, now your toes, and feel the very bottom of your feet. Feel any tension still residually in the bottom of your feet and let it drop into the earth. Let it go. You don't need it. Just breathe easy. And if you can, feel beneath your feet just an inch, just a millimeter. Feel down there a little bit. Keep letting go. Keep letting your ankles go, your whole body, and just let it pour through your feet. Just keep breathing. You can hold this posture for as long as you want, as long as you can, but without straining us too much. Let's come back and slowly, without shocking yourself, slowly open your eyes. Slowly let the light in. Slowly let go of your focus. And relax. So that, folks, is scanning through your body, which is the first step in eventually syncing your chi. And that is effectively grounding. So ground into the earth. You know, with practice, and I'm speaking from experience, you can actually sink beneath your etheric field and further than that into the earth and feel something that's not you. And so if you want to become grounded and you want to practice that, be my guest. Enjoy.